Hello and welcome to Coffee Chat with Jody. I'm so sorry I'm running late. A couple of things, but I was actually just trying to get on here. So if you were waiting, I really apologize. When I was trying to log on to actually go, I use a third party. They wouldn't let me start the video without selecting a package, and then I just refreshed. Anyways, small technical difficulty this morning. Grab your coffee, tea, whatever you're drinking. I'd love to hear what you're drinking. Maybe it's a fun new tea you got, a coffee. I know I order my coffee through the mail, and I love it. It's flavored. Starts my day, but today I'm actually starting with water because I slept in. My daughter slept in, so I slept in, and I didn't have time to make coffee. Anyway. Please share hearts. Share what you're drinking. Share what's going on with you. The holiday season's right around the corner. I know here in the city I live in Kitchener-Waterloo, in Canada, we have the Santa Claus parade this weekend. So it's already the start of the holiday season. Santa Claus is coming to town. So I would love to hear what's going on for you. This is the time to really start talking about it, because once we get really close to Christmas, there's just going to be so much going on that you won't have as much time to sit back and think about, what is going on for you, what thoughts are coming up. So today we're talking about doing less and being more. So it's being more present with your children, your husband, your friends. Have you ever been, out and you're talking to a friend, or you're even going for a walk and you're not even looking at your surroundings, you're just in your head thinking about maybe the million things you need to do, or reliving an event and something that happened, you're like, oh man, why did I do that? Or why did I say that? Man, why did it go like this? And just replaying it over and over in your head. And then you forgot to look at the Christmas lights, or you forgot to listen to your friend, or it's even being present with our children. Maybe you had a rough day and you're sitting there and you're not really taking them in, you're thinking about the day. I know what happened for me yesterday. I had a little bit of a stumble yesterday, and not physically, just mentally. And I had not a great day for me. And I put on Christmas music to kind of change the mood around, kind of just felt like I was in a funk. And then I put Christmas movie on when I was working, and that didn't really work. It was like, meh. And so when my daughter came home from school, and when I was hanging out with my son once he got up from his nap, I didn't feel fully present. And I was trying to shake it. I knew I was in it. And it just, sometimes just focusing on them and being, okay, I'm going to be present, sometimes isn't enough. Sometimes it is, depending on what it is. And sometimes it isn't. So once they went to bed, I tried to be as present as I possibly could. And I went and I journaled. I journaled about what I was feeling, what was coming up, and just really getting rid of the stuff that was bothering me and distracting me from my life. Because that's what it was doing. It was distracting me from my life. Everything that was going on, I did not need to think about it anymore. But if I just suppressed it too, though, that would come up later. So I really just got with my emotions and really got present with my feelings and my thoughts, and really journaled. So that's one way to really connect. Now, if you're just, we're all busy moms. If it's just that you're busy and you just get caught up in doing, I hear you. I'm the same way, where, you might have a million things to do. And then maybe your child comes home from school, or they get from their nap, and then you can't turn off. It's kind of with different rituals to stop before they get home. From school, it's easier because you know what time you need to shut down. Nap times, if they're on a really good nap routine, you'll know that as well. But it's kind of like a little ritual. Maybe it's just doing a little bit of reading, something to kind of shift gears from woman or like mommy duties around the house or whatever it is that you're focusing on, and really shifting. And it could be a little ritual, like reading a book. I actually have two different inspirational books on the go and a novel. So I have 3 books. It depends on what mood I'm in, and I just read them. And it's really just shifting gears. And I personally love books that make me think, inspirational books, because then I can really get out of my own mindset, and they're usually about positive thinking of some sort. So the great news is we're actually doing a book of the month starting December. So you have a book you can read, The Emotional Edge, and I'm going to start reading that with you at the beginning of December. So please join me, and then that can be a book. Now, it is a hardcover. I usually love to have books that are a little lighter so I can put them in my purse. So wherever I go, I have a book to read. If somebody's late or if I'm just early and I have some time, then I read. And but yeah, so it's getting that little ritual, and it's also scheduling it in. If you've been following me, you know that scheduling is a big part of really keeping your life kind of balanced, and knowing, just knowing when you're gonna be present with your child. So a lot of moms, we have, different times where you have to have your kid and you're doing the housework or cooking supper, just different things that are going on, and you have to balance it all. But sometimes it's like allotting maybe even 15 minutes a day, or it doesn't even have to be like just one 15-minute slot a day, but a 15 minutes that you're going to be fully present with your child or your children, your husband, or partner. At any time, you can really just have that time. And it's literally just forget about everything else. And when we're fully present with somebody, they can really feel it. When we are not thinking about the next thing we have to do, when we don't have to be like, oh man, I have to do this, this, and this, and this tonight. And we get that in the habit with our children. It's like, come on, go to bed. We have this, this, and this. I'm like, they don't need to hear our to-do list. They just need us to be present and really be there for them when we go to bed. Because my husband can fall into that. He gets a little excited that we have so much to do. And it's like, no, we don't have anything to do right now. We just need to be with our kids before we put them to bed. That's all it is taking that mind shift. So again, let's just go back to what you can do. And it's a ritual before you're transitioning from work or even just anything like personal stuff, even self-care, because it is a transition. You're now going from just being, a woman focusing on yourself, and then being present with your kid. Now, self-care before being present actually can help too. And that's part of what reading is and things like that. I actually notice anytime I go get my hair cut, go to the spa, even just get out of the house on my own, I'm going to be so much more present with my children because I've taken that time to get away. And so it's just being more present. And and then it's looking at your to-do list. And that leads me into a little bit of what I want to talk more into today. But let's look at your to-do list. Look at your to-do list, and actually the best way to do it is write down everything you do in a day. Everything. And I mean everything, like being on Facebook. How often are you on Facebook? How often are you just picking it up and reading it? I've fallen back into that habit a little bit myself. But you can waste a lot of time. Like if it's only a minute, but how many times a day do you do it in a minute? It's looking at just everything you do and how often you do it. And there's no judgment here. And it's maybe even, let's take the Facebook example actually. So maybe for Facebook, you notice like, oh man, I pick up my phone, maybe a handful of times an hour, and you look at it for 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. So maybe you're in all, you're actually looking at it for 15, 20 minutes. They're broken up. Well, you can actually have that plan. Be like, okay, I'm just going to look at Facebook at this time and just have those moments. And it's really just scheduling it in just like anything else you do. Now, we're going to look at your list of things. And if every day is a lot different than the other, then maybe do a week. But what you really want to do, I don't want to overwhelm you. So I would just pick your busiest day and just write out everything you do, from waking your child in the morning, from like getting them breakfast, and if they go to school, things like that, and really write it all out. And then I would like you to draw pretty much like a cross, really. So you have 4 columns, and start organizing. And the one that's to the left, the top left, put what lights you up, what makes you feel good, when you really feel happy. Then the second one, things that you're good at and that you enjoy doing, kind of like they're okay. And then the bottom left, put let me think what I worded that again. Like things you do but you don't want to do. So things that are on your list. It could even be cleaning. And anything that you do that you don't really like doing, but you do. And then the last one, so the bottom left, or sorry, bottom right, is things you don't like doing at all. Like you actually despise. And they're probably the things that are constantly on your to-do list that make you feel stuck. Things that you procrastinate around because you just don't want to do them. So put those all in and look at your list. So the things that light you up, those are the things that you love doing. And if there's not a lot on your list, it's figuring out how to shift things so you're doing more things, or spending more time with more things that you like doing. Because when you're doing things that you like doing, then you can actually be more present as well. But it's looking at your list, and it's really looking at where can you give people other things to do. So if you don't like cleaning, if it's in your budget, maybe it's getting a cleaning person. If it's not, maybe it's having, like if you have older kids, have them help. At a certain age, like once they get a certain age, they can actually help. It's, your husband, partner, having them chip into different things and really looking at how to change your day up. And that's really what it is looking at your list and seeing, and then seeing what can be cut. So, like I said before, this is kind of brings into what I'd like to talk to you about today. And I wrote this, like I posted this in here and on my page this week on Monday. And I'd really like you to think about it. If you didn't see it, if you did read it already, we can kind of just go through it together. Are you one of the moms that you just want to be a really great mom, that you want to be perfect, that you're just trying to do everything just so, it's like, I need to do this because that's what a perfect mom does. Or it's not even that you're using the word perfect, but you're really just thriving to this idea of a perfect mom. Maybe you didn't have dance or gymnastics or sports as a kid. So you're trying to give your kids everything you didn't have, and you're just trying to just really overcompensate and really just be, and there's no harm in that. The thing is it actually making you the person you're trying so hard not to be? When we try to be, one, a person we're not, doing things that do not fit into our box, into our personal spirit, into our soul, things that don't light us up, we become a person that we're not. And then we become angry, resentful, overwhelmed, stressed, and then we lash out at the ones that we love, our children, our husband, when we're not doing things that light us up, with that left hand top left-hand corner was very light. It's figuring out ways to fill that up with things that you love to do. And it might even be as simple as going for a walk with your children or your husband, like all together. Or it could just be, you're spending time with your child and you're going for a walk together. But in a way, like if they're young enough and they're in a stroller, it's almost like they're enjoying the sights and so are you. And it really can be, it's figuring out things in your life that can work together for you. So I just give these suggestions, but it could be something completely different for you. And it's time to really be more present with yourself. Like, what emotions are coming up when you're doing different things? And I say, when I mentioned the whole doing things that you love and lighten up your soul, that's what happened to me yesterday. I did something that actually, I didn't know it at the time, so it was definitely a life lesson and something that I'm really glad I did in hindsight. The thing is, it's learning sometimes things that don't bring you joy and light you up. And it's okay. So it's like, okay, well, I'm going to not do this anymore. I choose not to because it didn't light me up. It actually brought a lot of heaviness to my day. And it's okay. I learned, and it's making peace with that. It's not a failure. It's just a learning experience. So sometimes we try something. It's not what we want or expected, and we realize, like, oh, this goes against everything I believe in. Or you do something, you have to figure it out, and it's okay. Like sometimes you're like, oh right, that did fill me up, or it's like, no. So I really encourage you to play with it, figure out what it is that really, lights you up. And you might already know, and you just haven't been doing it, and that's okay too. And so take those lists and really figure out where you're losing your energy in your day. Where is it that you're actually probably stressing about and turning your wheels? I know when I did this, I did something similar anyways for business. And the things that I was procrastinating on were the things that I did not feel confident in. And that would be also the column for you would be the things you don't like to do. The things that really, really bother you to do. That you're just like, I really can't stand doing this. So it's really just figuring out what lights you up. And chopping down that to-do list. And with the holiday season around the corner, this is one of the reasons I want to talk about this, is the holiday season around the corner, we have all these expectations, or we can, and families have expectations. You have families that are like, hey, you're coming to visit here, or maybe it's for a whole week or a few days, and you're running, depending on how your family's set up, if you have more than, it really depends on your family structure. Like some people, the movie Four Christmases, if you have a family that's divorced and on both sides, then you have 4 different families. And even my family, my parents are together, but we actually celebrate both sides separately because my mom's side is pretty big when they get together. And I've actually, for years, I've told them to just get together and celebrate all together because the families are growing and now we actually have our own Christmas. So it's really just figuring out where expectations lie and what is the best for you and your family. For us, we have decided to stay home over the holidays for a few days, and that's us. We don't travel far, and that's just, we want to be home for the holidays with our children, and that's just that's how we decided to have it. And then we'll go visit family. And but it's really figuring out where your expectations are, and it's really just looking at being realistic. We have so many things, societies around us, saying you have to have this, you have to do that. And it can be really overwhelming. So if you feel overwhelmed, check in with yourself, check in with your husband, partner, anybody, your support team, anybody that is your little team, and really figure out what's best for you guys, and really look at that. Like, okay, do we really need to whatever it is that you're overdoing? And because remember, when we do things that don't light us up, we become a person that we're so trying hard not to be, cranky, overwhelmed, exhausted. And that's not healthy for anybody. So I have decided, I wore a shirt that says be, yeah, there you go, be you, be you. It comes down to being you. What lights you up? What do you love to do? Now that doesn't mean that, maybe it doesn't light you up to do laundry, but sometimes it happens. But even that, like depending on how old your children are, you can get them involved and make it a fun game. But that doesn't mean that things on your list will magically disappear, but it's looking at the gaps in your list, the time where you're just, when I say doing, I mean like you're just browsing on Facebook. You're not taking that time to be present. And I've fallen into this myself. You're sitting there and the kids are playing, and then you're on your phone. It's like, oh, let's just check out Facebook instead of just being present. And I'm not saying that you can't do both, but it's really picking time to be very present with your children, your husband, partner, anybody else around you, your friends. Like, for instance, I'm hanging out with a friend today, and I'm just going to shut everything else off and be very present with her because she deserves it. She deserves my full on attention, not thinking about, what I need to do next. So, where can you cut your list, and what can you do to fill the joy at? And I really encourage you today to figure out when you can be very present with the loved ones around you. Look at your list for the day. Really figure out one where you can take those gaps and really just either eliminate them or move them around. Where you can get help with certain things. And it's really outsourcing if all possible. Maybe you have grandparents that come over, or your parents or in-laws, and they're always looking for something to do, or you have friends that are like, is there anything I can do? Take their support. Like, you know what, there is something that I've really been putting off because I really don't want to do it. And maybe they're actually really good at it, and have them help. Or it's always more fun when you have a party. So it's, maybe you don't even like decorating your house for Christmas, but you like to have them, have your house a little decorated. And we actually in our house just focus on one room. One room is where we have everything happen. It's like our little Christmas room. And maybe you don't celebrate Christmas, and maybe you're doing something else. So whatever you're doing, but it's really just making a party of it. Like, invite some people over, or just have your kids have some hot cocoa, and just make it fun. Something that might not light you up can be fun depending on what's being put on. So it depends on what is on your list. Maybe you're still writing from the moment I said, hey, write down everything you did. And if that's the case, wow, you have a lot to do. And it's really about figuring out how you can have others help you through it as well. And maybe you have a partner or husband that can help you. Maybe you've been taking on too much, and it's time to have a conversation with them. So I hope you have a great holiday. And because the holidays are around the corner, actually, I just want to quickly shout out, I did post it on here today, or sorry, not today, Monday. I did post this, but because the holidays are around the corner and there's just so much going on, support is the biggest thing we can have. I have support through my own business coach, who also, helps me with the personal things that I reach out to often. And I also have a naturopath that is helping me through the non-sleep phase of my son's life and my life. So I'm really having her help me, guide me, so my mind and body don't fall to pieces. So it's really reaching out for help. So I am aware that this can be a crazy time. It can be a time where, there's more expenses. So I've actually completely chopped my VIP coaching package in half. In half. And normally we work together for 6 months too, but it's only for 3 to get you through the holiday period. And afterwards too, because um, it can be overwhelmed after as well, whereas like you're just in it. You're in this holiday spirit and you're like, woohoo, and then it's over and you're like, oh, it's over. What happened? And then you can be even overwhelmed from doing so much and not taking care of you. And just exhausted from everything you've been doing. So I'd be there for you on the other side too, for support. And here in January can be a very depressing time because it is winter. So having that extra support. So that is one of the reasons I've just completely cut it in half, because it's time to give. It's my Christmas gift to you. So if you're interested, please reach out to me. And it is literally everything I offer my VIP coaching clients is half price, which is so amazing, and actually half the time as well, just so I can get you through that holiday season. And the price isn't based on like just because I cut the month. So it's just you're thinking like, of course it's half price of half the time, but no, like monthly, it's cut in half. So please reach out to me if you're interested. It is, it's so exciting. I literally, what you would get from this, I'm just going to quickly go over it, is one-on-one time with me. And I actually do 2 60-minute calls. A lot of coaches these days are doing half hour every week, and I can do that as well, but I do encourage the 1 hour every other week for a couple of reasons. It gives you a little time in between to be with your emotions. Like I really love the 60-minute one if it fits into your lifestyle. I'm more than flexible to do it a half hour every week. But in total, it will be 2 hours a month of one-on-one time with me. And then it's a private Facebook group. In the Facebook group, I also do weekly questions, weekly Q&A, support, anything that's going on. So you see me every week. And you can contact me any day with email support. And I also do a VIP one-on-one kind of coffee chat where we can literally just chat about what's going on. We can just connect that way. And it's actually through video. And so you really get to see me in your living room face to face. And it's not like Facebook Live where you see me and I don't see you. It's literally face to face. Coffee time with me. Because I'm online and I'm international, it makes it easier so you don't have to worry about where you live because we can just jump on video conference. And then there's also, you get my 8-week telecourse for free, a value of $289. So my coaching package in general is usually it's very amazing for the price you get, the price you pay. And then I've even cut that in half. So half price. So if you feel that you need some support over the holiday season and you need to get through, your family dinners, the triggers that come up, I'm definitely well aware of triggers. I personally have had experience with those. And even to this day, I do. It happens. But the more you do it, the better you get at it. So I would love to walk on your journey through this holiday season, regardless of what you celebrate. We all have, it's all just a fun time, personally. It's a magical time for me, and I love it. And I look forward to hearing from you. So please just private message me, reach out, and let's connect if that is something that you'd like to do. I hope I gave you a lot of information today. And so if you have any questions about that too, please reach out. And I can always help you figure out how to dwindle down your list of everything you do in a day. It's going to be powerful. Even if you don't break it up into those squares, writing down everything you do in a day is a powerful experience in itself because you'll realize how much you're doing in a day. It's usually too much. So put some be present moments in your life. Be present with your child, your children, your husband, partner, your friends, your other family, your parents, and just be present. And It can be challenging depending on who you're meeting up with. But if you're present, they can feel you more. And be you. Like I said, I wore this shirt on purpose. Be you. That's the best you can do. Just be yourself with your children, with everybody in your life. I hope you have a beautiful day. Thank you so much for listening. If you're watching the replay later, and have a beautiful